We're visiting David Patchen, who does glass in San Francisco, and Lois, what's your last name?
Hatfield.
Lois Hatfield from Nevada, where I happen to live, is visiting David's booth here, and David is going to show us some of the pieces that he brought and tell us a little bit about the process. So it's all you, David.
Great. So all of these pieces are made using a technique called cane and marini. And cane are these rods, and marini are these tiles. And so I have to make these rods and tiles days in advance of
Lois,
actually
can I
making
get
the
you a
piece.
little closer so I can get you in this too? Okay.
So on a Tuesday, I'll stretch the glass, I'll layer the glass and I'll stretch it, and then on Wednesday when it's cool, I'll cut the glass into cross sections, and that's where I get these patterned tiles that comprise all these pieces. So once I have all the patterned tiles, I can then design a piece by laying it all out on a ceramic plate in a pattern that I find aesthetically pleasing, and then it'll go into a kiln and it'll come up to about 1,000 degrees. And then from there, it can safely go into the furnace where the glass gets soft again, and we squeeze it together into a sheet. And then we roll it up onto a blowpipe when it's the right temperature. And then after that, there's a bubble that's probably about this big with the pattern on the inside of it, but it's very thin. So we have to layer it and case it in clear glass. And so we'll dip it in clear glass, usually twice. And then now the bubble's about this big and probably about 2.5 to 3 inches thick.
Before you go any further, David, could you point to a couple of pieces that are on display here and just tell us anything about these pieces?
Sure. Well, the pieces utilize pretty similar techniques, but like this piece, you can see all of these pieces were individual tiles of marini before I blew it, and there's some detail on the side here, which is called cane, and in this case, it's a woven cane that's made by gathering rods and twisting and pulling them, so you can get all sorts of crazy patterns in them. So you'll see that all of the pieces have a different style of marini, and they share some similarities in the rods. That's kind of a common element, but the marini, I usually make marini, and it can only be used for one piece. So each piece is distinctive and unique that way.
David, can you tell us something about what you like about glass blowing and designing?
That'd be a long answer. There's little I don't love about glass blowing. I find it's really intense, and it's very physical, but also I love the properties of glass are really curious. Glass behaves differently every second that it's out of the furnace because it's cooling down. So it's a very enigmatic material to work with when it's hot. And I find that the opportunity for it to do interesting things with light in 3 dimensions is really exciting and fun.
Your studio's in San Francisco?
Yeah, it's on the south side of San Francisco. I work out of a non-profit shared space called Public Glass, and I have my own private studio inside of Public, and that's where I create all my work.
And how has the show been for you?
The show's been great. It's a beautiful show. It's actually my first show ever outside of doing shows with galleries.
Very cool.
And it's been interesting. There's a ton of people, lots of people to talk to, a number of commissions that I think come out of the show.
Wonderful.
And a few sales and a few galleries interested in my work. So it's been a good experience.
Lois, how many times have you been to the Sausalito Art Festival?
Oh, heavens. I've been coming to this festival since 1980, and I used to show in the show myself.
Oh, really? What did you show?
I was a shibori artist. Well, I still am.
Uh-huh.
And I actually dabble a little bit in glass myself. I've done a little flame work and fusing and slumping, and that's probably why I have such an appreciation for art at this level, which is just mind-boggling.
And that's how you knew what cane and marini was.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys very, very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.